Hi everybody, me again. So I just did a video to explore with my spirit guides the solar eclipse, if it was a hoax or what their opinion on that was. And the next thing I want to explore with my spirit guides is the flat earth phenomenon. So there's talk out there that the earth is flat and no longer a dimensional orb shape in the infinite universe. I've been thinking a lot about this, actually exploring, well, let's say the earth is flat. How would we manifest a flat earth? Obviously, I, Abby, have dimension. I'm not a flat person. What I see out there is not flat either. Even something that is flat can have a bit of perceptive dimension, right? Because how flat can you make a sheet of paper? You can continue to slice that thing as thin as you want, and then now get down to slicing the atoms in half and slicing the microatoms in half and continuing to slice it down infinitely. So even to something smaller than an atom and something smaller than that would perceive a sheet of paper as having absolute dimension, even looking like a cliffside. But to our human perception, the flat sheet of paper is simply a flat thing. So how flat truly is the earth, depending on your perception? If you're a human being versus if you are the universe versus if you are a microatom or something even smaller than that, what truly is the shape of the earth? If the earth is flat, then what is the difference between the atmosphere of the earth and the atmosphere of the universe and the atmosphere of the stars? If we're living in a two-dimensional space, how do we actually move through a two-dimensional space? We have to jump over everything. We're part of the flatness of everything, so we can't actually move through the space itself because we have dimension in order to move through the space. These are just simple, elementary conversations about geometry and dimension and just thinking realistically about what we know about shape and form and dimension. So I've been thinking about that. I've also been thinking about the illusion of dimension. So you have what is something that is a flat sheet of paper, right? You put a paper clip on it, a piece of paper, and then you start to spin it. If you spin it really fast, now the flat sheet of paper presents the illusion of having dimension because of our eyes. Our eyes cannot perceive the speed that is manifesting the experience of a shape that is taking place. So does that flat sheet of paper actually have dimension, or is it flat? Was it flat all along? It only provides the illusion of having dimension. So I'm trying to make sense of how an Earth space could be flat with flat people, flat stars, flat universe, flat everything. Because if the Earth is flat, everything then is flat. So that's been on my mind a lot. I've also been exploring just simply geometry and the exploration of what would be the zero dimension. What is the zero dimension? It's simply a point. Well, within the zero dimension, within a single point, you could open up the point and now see an entire universe in a single point. So now you take a single point and now you add points to it to create length and width. Now you have what is a two-dimensional space. Well, obviously you have a one-dimensional space if you just have 2 points, A and B, and then there's a line. So there's a one-dimensional space, and you can have a two-dimensional space. Now you have a three-dimensional space where you have dimension. Well, what is exactly a fourth-dimensional space? Geometric-wise, what is a fourth-dimensional space? But what is a fourth-dimensional space spirit-wise? Because we would have the ability to have access to 3 dimensions plus what would be the 4th dimension, access to higher spiritual awareness. I could define it as love, higher access to love. Because in the end, love is the 0 dimension. Love is the 1st, 2nd, 3rd dimension. Love is the 1,000,000th dimension. Love is the 100,000,000th dimension. Love is everything. It's consciousness that creates depth. Consciousness creates depth. But how much depth is the consciousness able to access? You're living in a 3-dimensional space. You can only actually comprehend 2 dimensions of space. But if you live in a 4th-dimensional space, you can actually comprehend 3 dimensions of space. You can't comprehend a 5th-dimensional space. You don't live in a 5th-dimensional space. You live in a 4th-dimensional space. You live inside the 4th-dimensional space, so you can't even comprehend into its totality 4 dimensions. You can really only comprehend fully 3 dimensions. 2 dimensions, 1 dimension, and 0 dimensions. So it's really a fascinating topic here to explore flat earth and geometry and what is human ascension from a third dimensional reality to a fifth dimensional reality. What does that actually mean? So when I do the explorations of the infinite universe through just spiritual journeys, it's interesting because the spirit realm can show me an entire galaxy and it's flat. But it's not just flat, because flat also has dimension. You could take flat and then open it up in the spiritual universe, and there's infinite numbers of possibilities inside of that single flat space. Just like you take a 0 point, and now you have infinite numbers of possibilities. So what is infinite exactly? Infinite is many, 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 many infinite numbers, or it is one. But even one could be spliced up into infinite numbers as well. So even one does not necessarily define infinite either. So I'm just going to pause here and I'm going to explore what my spirit guides have to say about flat earth, specifically flat earth. So I'm just going to pause here. Okay. There's actually an energetic feeling to this. It's a little intolerant. It's exhausting. I feel like I'm in a washing machine going round and around. The washing machine that goes around this way, not this way. I'm actually going round and around like in a dryer or something. But it's water. There's water. I'm being washed up. It's spinning. It's really spinning, and it's making me dizzy. It's making me feel horrible. They asked me what allows. So the spin manifests the circular shape. The spin manifests the circular shape. If the water were not to spin, it would manifest a flat shape. So it would just simply fill up to the level of wherever the water's at, and then it would just create a flat surface. So you just put water in a sink, and now you have a flat surface of water. Then you put water in a washing machine that goes around and around in a circle, and now you manifest a circular shape. The spirit wants to know, what does flat mean to you? If the water is simply still and flat and creates a flat shape, versus if the water is spinning and now creates circular shape. What does flat versus circle mean to you? They actually want you to tell me which one do you like better than the other. Do you think flat has more meaning than circular? Circular is less awesome because circles are kind of lame and flat is kind of cool. Like, what does that actually mean to your heart? Is flat more meaningful than circle? Is white awesomer than black? Like, what does it mean to you? Just simply asking that question. Do you vote for flat or do you vote for circle, and why? Spirit shows me what is a scene where we're standing at the edge of the earth because it is flat. Flat spaces have an edge, right? Or does the earth go on for infinity? It is an infinite earth. The earth goes on forever because it is flat. It's an infinite space. Or is there an edge to the earth? So you get to the edge of the earth, and then what happens? You just fall into outer space, which is also flat. So you can actually walk into outer space. Can you walk into the sky? And actually walk into the sky and then walk across the universe because it is simply flat. Spirit wants to know, what is the answer to this question? So is there an end to Earth, or is there not an end to Earth? Because if Earth goes on forever, now we can explore this a little bit differently. But if Earth does not go on forever, now there has to be an edge, the end of Earth, and the beginning of Earth. I see a boy standing at the edge of Earth. Beneath the Earth is just soils that just crust off into the outer space. There's no, it's not equal on both sides. So we have one edge of Earth is sort of green grasses and trees, lakes, etc. Beneath that is just soils that are just crusting and dusting off into outer space. There's not an equal parallel version of Earth on the other side of the flat Earth scene that I'm looking at. There aren't people standing upside down on the flat Earth scene. There is an edge to all of this. Earth almost manifests in the image of what is like a lake. It's just sort of dispersed out and flat. There's a boy at the edge. He has a quarter and he just sort of chucks it off the edge and it sort of flips down, 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 down. He was looking how far down the coin goes in the infinite universe, and it keeps going down, 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 down. Wait! It's flat! The coin should have just landed on the flatness of the universe. It should not have just trickled down, 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 infinitely downward. Because how does it have anywhere to go down? There's no dimension here. We're looking at flatness. We're manifesting the illusion of dimension and flatness at the same time. You can't have both. Or can you? Can you have both? Can you have flatness and dimension at the same time? They want you to answer the question. Do you believe you can have flatness and dimension at the same time? How flat is the earth again? Is it as thin as a piece of paper? Or do we need to shave the paper thinner, 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 until we can't even see it anymore because it becomes invisible? Because how thin is the earth and how thick is the earth? Because if it has thickness, it has dimension, right? So how truly flat can anything be? How truly flat can anything be? They're showing me what is like a massive giant with huge feet, and it's creating an earthquake on the flat earth with the boy standing at the edge. To the giant, this earth is as thin as the thin ice. Like he could crack it in half and then fall into the universe. But where is he going to go if he falls into the universe? He will instantly disappear because it's flat. So if anything were to fall into, it would actually delete. It would actually not go anywhere. It would delete. It would become invisible because it's a flat space. You can't fall through the ice in a flat space. You would simply crack it, and then where would you go? There would be no way to even crack it because it would be totally solid underneath itself, right? Well, what is above it then? It must be totally solid too, because whatever is beneath must also be above, right? And what is thin? What is the definition of thin? When we are talking about perspective here, what is the definition of infinite? What is the definition of 0 point? Nothing? It's zero? Or it's an infinite universe inside of a single point, inside of a single grain of sand. They want to know how does the giant crack the flat earth in two pieces and then fall through the flatness? How does the giant do it? How does he do it? It's what they want to know. They want you to answer the question. They want you to give an answer to how the giant actually does it. That's it. That's all they're going to say. All right, so that's what Spirit has to say about flat Earth. Gives you something to think about. I'm a supporter of diverse thinking, but I'm also a supporter of exploring what it means, exploring the dynamics of creation, and then discovering what feels right or what, doesn't. In the end, it doesn't matter. In the end, it matters how you love from deep down inside your heart, how you love others, how you love the expansion of wisdom or create chaos because you refuse to love anything that isn't whatever it is that you believe. It's blasphemy. It sounds like we need to start a Christian war and kill everybody. Because anybody who thinks anything differently than ourselves, they must need to die, right? Anyway, I like smiling. So that being said, I'm done speaking about this. If you're interested in exploring a psychic session with me, please visit me at my website at abbynormalswisdomquest.com. Thank you very much for exploring my video, and I wish you a wonderful day.